But the other Ger at least did bring his. What do you make of it all?
Well, I did, and I'm going to need it as well because it's a very bad day here. And most of all, I think, is the wind. The wind is going to really ruin the game. As well as that, even though the field is very firm, it's very, very greasy. And one bounce of the ball could decide this game today. And who's going to win, it's very hard to predict. But the wind is going to have a huge influence on the game, I think.
OK, the action's coming up very shortly. There's some young children entertaining the crowds at the moment. We're back here in a couple of minutes' time.
Yes, indeed. We will be heading back down to Cork in just a few minutes to join the two Gers for coverage of that game. But let me just tell you that we also have Championship football on the programme this afternoon. And we'll be back again with us on our panel this summer. Gentlemen, you're very welcome indeed. Cyril, everybody is saying that this match is going to be hard to call. Would you agree with that?
I would, Michael, in the sense that the two teams, Limerick and the settled team, and Cork are trying to get a new team. And like Ger Loughnane there from Páirc, it's very wet and very windy. And I suppose that, in a sense, makes it hard to call as well. But the Cork lads should know every little puff of wind down there, especially Ger Cunningham. He'll have a big burn on the game today.
Cyril, we've heard so much during the week about, rumours of rifts in the Cork camp and things not going well. How much of that is real? How much of it is just Championship build-up?
Well, that's all part of the game, Michael, Down in Cork, I suppose people would have been disappointed with the league performances of the team, but you're down to Championship games now at this point in time. It's a big game for the new lads in the team, and I'm sure the 15 that are going to go out there today are going to give it their best shot.
Yeah, well, Tomás, of course, you are a veteran of many Championship outings with Cork and of clashes with Limerick and indeed of scoring controversial goals.
Cashman, midway through this first half, down towards Kevin Hennessy, in there with Tomás Mulcahy, without the stick, has to kick, he's kicked it in!
Yeah, Tomás, that's that famous goal, of course, from, 4 years ago now. This one isn't exactly in the books, mind you.
Well, I tell you, Michael, it was so hot that day, even the ball was hot, and I had no option but to throw it up. I must say I got a bit of slack after that game, but I mean, at the end of the day, really, it came down to the referee's decision. When I caught the ball, I'd lost my stick, and my instinct always had put the head down and go straight for goal, and it wasn't up to me to disallow the goal. And I think I was interviewed after the match that day, and I was the first one to admit I think that I should have been disallowed. But again, on a day, if somebody gets one like that today, I don't think they're going to have too many complaints either.
Yeah, well, that's all history, of course, for the moment. Today is another day, and we'll be going down to the match very shortly. Now, our pitchside reporter for this afternoon's match is Tony O'Donoghue, and here he is now talking to the two managers. Here, in actual fact, the teams are coming out onto the pitch. And this is Limerick coming out, and a big day for them, Cyril, down in Páirc. Now, we've all heard about this record of Cork not being beaten down there, of course, since 1976.
Well, the big thing, Michael, is that Limerick will treat it like another game. If they believe in this hoodoo, if they believe in it, they're going to be beaten. They have to go down there and take it as any other game and go out and win. Because really this team, if it doesn't win today, it could be the breaking up of that team. They're around long enough now to win the championship, and they still have to get over that awful defeat. So this is their year.
Times past, even going back to that game 4 years ago, Tomás, when a Limerick team or a Clare team going down to Páirc would be stricken with fear at the sight of the blood and bandages. It's not quite the same now, though, is it?
It's not. No, Michael, over the last 3 or 4 years, we've struggled in the first round of our championship matches, and today it's probably going to be a bit different in a sense, right? You have a new management team, you have a fresh approach to the outfit. Limerick, in all fairness to them, came last year and beat Tipperary in Páirc, so I don't think they're going to have any fears today of playing Cork in their own back garden.
This is, Cyril, a very settled Cork team. It's pretty much the same teams you've seen there now that could have won the All-Ireland 2 years ago.
The Limerick team Mike was talking about now, yeah, they could have, and they believe that they should have won it 2 years ago, but last year was a bad year for them. But they are a settled side, but the only thing is that Cork lately in challenge games have been going very well, and there's one quiet game they had about 2 weeks ago, and they scored about 224 against Kilkenny, down in Páirc on a windy evening. And I think Ger's going to have a big barrel this Ger Cunningham, because that breeze will be coming in front of us down the pitch, and both goals have a big say in the outcome.
Both sides obviously will want to win this match on its own rights, but of course there's also that extra little factor of the winners to meet Clare, the All-Ireland and Munster champions, in the next round.
Well, if Limerick win, they have Clare in the Gaelic grounds at home, and if Cork win, they have them in what they call the home of Ireland in Thurles, a fantastic pitch and a fantastic stadium. So the stakes are high. Even for both management teams, the stakes are very high.
Tomás, we were talking just a moment ago there about the young new players in the Cork side, but in fact you think that the big game today could be from some of the older players?
I would think so, yes. When you look at both sides, really, with 2 excellent goalkeepers, I think, as Cyril just said there, I think Ger Cunningham's puck out, whether it be with the wind or against the wind team, could have a very big bearing on it. Because if Ger is pucking out the ball and pucking it well, as he always does, you're going to be having the ball landed down on top of Teddy McCarthy with a duel with Kieran Carey. Now, Kieran Carey is a great man for going forward all the time, so if Teddy McCarthy can actually turn him and start having them running the other way, I think Cork are in with a very good chance. And likewise at the other side, you have Gary Kirby against Jim Cashman.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim Cashman and Gary Kirby have great tussles down through the years.
Sure, yeah.
And I think another one is going to be another one is in place for today.
Okay, now I was just mentioning a moment ago there that our pitch side reporter is Tony O'Donoghue, and here indeed he is now talking to the two managers, Jimmy Barry Murphy and Tom Ryan.
Yeah, it's a very wet and windy Páirc Chaoimh, but a clash we're all eagerly looking forward to. With me the two Toms, Cashman and Ryan. Tom Ryan first. Will the conditions affect the game, Tom?
No, Tony, the conditions won't affect the game. It's coming and going. The wind is a bit spilly, all right. But the pitch is in immaculate condition, and it's needed the rain, and it'll be ideal conditions.
The one thing Limerick have been lacking the last couple of seasons is luck. Will you have the luck today?
Well, luck is what comes, and we're looking forward to the game, Tony. It should be a great game.
It should be indeed. Tom Cashman, you're used to championship hurling as a player. Is it different as a manager?
Yeah, much different, Tony. Much better out there in the field, mixing it up with the lads, but it's going to be tough sitting in the sidelines watching it.
What about Cork's performance in the league? Disappointing in the end. Do you think you can recapture championship-type form?
Yeah, it's all in the past, Tony. You know, we have to look forward and be positive, and we prepared well for today, and we're hoping that the lads will do it on today for us.
No changes.
Cashman there, not Jimmy Barry Murphy. Sorry about that. Gentlemen, before we go to the match, sure, a quick prediction on this one.
Well, if Limerick can win the toss and take the breeze and get in front and put pressure, real physical pressure within the law on Cork, to have a great chance here today. But if Cork, if Cork start well, they could be in for a hiding.
Tomas, can your side do it?
Yes, I think so. Cork have been very quiet over the last couple of weeks, and they've prepared very, very well. I know a lot of the lads involved in the team, and I think they're eagerly looking forward to this one, and I think they'll shade it.
Gentlemen, that's the talking done on this one for the moment. Let's get to the action. Here we go at Páirc Chaoimh, and the big match of the afternoon, Ger Canning.
Thank you very much indeed. You join us for the national anthem. Final strains of Aaron Navian, and just to settle the question as to who's won the toss, it's Cork, and they play from left to right in the first half, and they will have the wind at their backs. And the foreman in midfield ready for the throw-in there, waiting Willie Barrett's sound, and Willie indeed was the referee here for that 1992 Munster final that you featured a little while ago in the Tomas Mulcahy goal. It's a very large attendance, bigger than expected, I think. Probably up around 25,000. A misty afternoon, however. And Ger Loughnane, for once in a Páirc Chaoimh match, Cork are not the favourites.
No, Cork are not the favourites. I suppose Limerick are the favourites here, even though Cork have this great record of home. But very, very hard to call it today. We won't know until half-time how things are going. Cork will need to be leading by 6 or 7 points, I think. So a really, really exciting game in Páirc.
So Ger on a double mission, as it were, here this afternoon, working alongside us here, providing analysis and also, of course, keeping an eye on his opponents in a couple of weeks' time. Páirc Tobin ready, away to our left. And there's the Cork team. Whistle has been thrown in, but the whistle has been sounded, and away we go. And the teams are unchanged. That's the team news that we'll give you, and get on with the action. Kieran McGuckin, as we watch that Limerick team, and Kieran McGuckin has switched corner straight away with Fergal McCormack. Here's Gary Kirby, scorer of 12 points out of 16 here 12 months ago against Tipperary. Damien Quigley, dangerous ball, one for Ger Cunningham to react to, and the goalkeeper does well, playing today in his 47th championship match. This is Fergal McCormack, nephew of the great Kerry footballer Mick O'Connell. Down towards Joe Dean, trying to get inside, see Steve McDonough. Dean going for the first point. The umpires have a right good look at it. Ball has gone wide. But Cork will be glad that he's been able to get on the ball early and settle down any would-be nerves. Good chance here, Ger.
Very good chance, Joe. A bit nervous, I suppose, on his first game. Amazingly, the Cork full forward line are playing very far out, even though they're playing with the wind. He was about 30 yards out and he got the goal, but I'm sure the game has no pattern yet, but it will after a while.
Joe Quaid Made his championship debut 2 years ago against the same opposition. What a day he had down in Cork and Rail in Limerick. Chaoimh McCarthy trying to take that out of midfield. Stopped over there. Coming back towards Barry Egan. Would be expected to take the Cork freeze. In it goes towards Alan Brown. So 2 attacks yielding nothing. Alan Brown is a younger brother of Richard, who played in the championship for Cork a few years back as a full-back. He's been busy with his auctioneering examinations. That's Kevin Murray indeed there from Clodouv, just outside Ballincollig here in Cork. Good puck out against the wind. Brian Corcoran operating at midfield this afternoon. It's going to be interesting to see how he plays. Jim Cashman, they're beaten for that. Timmy Kelleher back here minding the house, getting assistance from the aforementioned Brian Corcoran. First time we've seen him really play as a midfielder. Towards Teddy McCarthy. How will he do in his clash with Kieran Carey? That's stopped over there by Dave Clark, the Kilmallock man, powering his way forward. Not getting much leverage out of it, however. Again, it's Brian Corcoran. This one falls for Mark Foley. In the corner there is Fergal Ryan, the Blackrock man. Jim Cashman also frees for the Rockies. We await the first score as Mike Nash makes a fine clearance. Batted down by Timmy Kelleher. Taking the shoulder there from Mike Houlihan. A fair degree of uncertainty. Jim Cashman trying to get it away, struggling to do so. Hodge Tobin getting it forward. Now Timmy Kelleher. The game without shape so far. Mark Mullins had it, but the Limerick player is down injured. That's going to be a free in. And the pat there on the back of Dave Clark of Kilmallock. Sean O'Neill saying, well done. This is what happened. Got a clip from behind, hence the free. Dr. Con Murphy in there attending to Brian Corcoran. Brian had a wonderful year here in 1992. Made his debut in the championship against Tiff, did so well against Pat Fox, and then the club went on to win the county championship. Here's Mike Houlihan to take the free from the middle of the field. Rain has eased off, sun's come out. Into the wind then. Looks good. And that's dropped over the bar. Great point from a free.
Great point. First of all, a late tackle from Mark Mullins. You can't give away frees to Limerick because Mike Houlihan and Gary Kirby will point them all. But a great free into the wind by Mike Houlihan, making a very welcome return to Limerick.
Well, he recovered from a fractured jaw. Bit of a miracle recovery, really. They were expecting he'd be out for at least 6 weeks. Teddy McCarthy over there. Doesn't get anything of it. Comes to Steve McDonough. One of the stars from 94. I went off Shane O'Neill, I think, or he's claiming that it was the Corkman who touched it. The linesman signalling that it's going to be a ball downfield. Willie Barrett going in just to confirm. Fergal McCormack from Mallow shaping up to take it. Dropped in towards Mark Mullins. Back out again. Good intervention there by Mark Mullins just to unsettle Kieran Carey. We've had all manner of weather conditions here this afternoon. Showers, mist, and now pleasant sunshine. Dave Clark to take the sideline cut. Over the header of Shawty McCarthy. Gary Kirby got a touch to it. On to Mike Galligan, who was born in Fairhill here in Cork. Useful shot from Galligan, and that's got over the bar. Mike Galligan from Cahorn with a second point for Limerick, justifying their favouritism in the opening 6 minutes.
Well, interestingly here, Cork switched their two wing backs before the game. Fergal McCormack moved over to left wing back and Kieran McGuffey into this wing, but Mike Galligan doing what he does best there, moving to the far wing and taking a great shot from about 60 yards out. Great point.
Cork yet to settle, yet to win the action around midfield. Jim Cashman leaving it behind, supported there by Fergal Ryan. Comes back to Galligan again. He looks so sharp and he puts it over, and it's another point for Galligan. A third point for Limerick, who made by far the better start.
Well, no doubt about it. Mike Galligan is on song today when he's like this. He can beat a team on his own. Another tremendous point there for them.
Well, 2 points from play, and as we say, Kieran McGuckin's been switched onto him. He looks well away from him there. Yes, he's causing problems. Kieran Carey trying to master his patch of ground alongside of Mark Foley. Good deep ball inside towards Podge Tobin. Free to Cork. A foul there on John O'Driscoll of Delaney's around Dublin Hill. Well, Cork have the first 2 attacks, both wide, and Limerick have come back to get their scores. Jim Cashman's free towards Teddy McCarthy, touchdown, comes towards Mark Mullins, can't take it, swept away from Barry Egan, comes out in the end to Shawny McCarthy. Is this their first score? And the Rebels taking their first point through midfielder Shawny McCarthy. McCarthy from Ballinhassig makes it 3 points to 1.
Well, Cork badly need this score. Ball breaking out to Shawny McCarthy. Shawny's always good for 2 or 3 points in the game and takes a very good score.
There's been a concern in Cork this week about the strength of their half forwards, whether or not they could get the measure of the Limerick half back line. And Shawny really going in there to show all and sundry how it's done. He breaks his stick here in a clash with Mike Houlihan. This comes across to Mark Mullins, the Carlow-born captain of Cork this afternoon. Sean O'Neill retreats. Free will be taken by Barry Egan. Good view here of the distance out as Barry Egan, wind assisted, drops it in and drops it over. So Cork are right back in it. This could be a great match. Fans are enjoying themselves and the weather has turned much, much more pleasant. Early stages in the game. Joe Quaid's puck out. Kieran Carey going across. It wasn't such a good puck out. And there was some holding there. Dave Clark was trying to make his way free. Free to Limerick. Kilmallock's Dave Clark will take this. In it goes neatly. Little block down there as Shane O'Neill was trying to make his way towards the target. Comes to Timmy Kelleher. Outside to another man with a green helmet. That's Fergal Ryan. Down towards Mark Mullins. Good turn by the Napiershig man. In it goes towards Alan Brown. Good pick up by Brown. Dropping short. Joe Quaid called into the action. Off his left-hand side makes a fine clearance to the centre of the field. Another broken stick there. That's Shawny McCarthy's second broken stick, and we've only played 7 or 8 minutes. This comes out to Mike Galligan. Galligan trying to get away from Jim Cashman. Hand passed inside there towards Damien Quigley. He was such a threat, as we know from past matches. Barry Egan wasn't quite sure where that one went. Went beyond him and Mark Foley. As far as Kieran Carey. The wind really holding back that ball. It'll be a Cork sideline ball. Kieran McGuckin coming across to take it. Joe Quaid at the opposite end. McGuckin was attached to the Cork senior hurling team around 1990, then went off the scene for a while because of work commitments. Here's Mark Foley. He used to be playing as a half forward, now converted for the last month to half back. Big test for him, big test for everybody. Here's Gary Kirby going by. McCormick trying to get in a challenge. The loose man outside here, Owen O'Neill, and that's put over the bar. Owen O'Neill, the student of UCC, gets his first point, stretches Limerick's lead. And they lead by 2 once again. That was very good backup play there. One mistake by the Cork backs and they were punished.
Well, the Cork attack line hasn't settled down at all yet. A lot of missing there. That ball should have been cleared on 2 occasions. Gary Kirby robs Jim Cashman. Ball to O'Neill and over the bar. So Limerick going really well playing against the wind.
Sean O'Neill makes the catch in midfield. He's a brother of Owen. He was tripped. And the other O'Neill, of course, in the squad, that's Shane. He's just a member of the same clan. Free to Limerick. Just outside the 65-metre line. Breeze against him. Dave Clark's free. Drops in towards Gary Kirby, breaks it down. It's Fergal McCormack who gets it out towards Sean McCarthy. Little flick on. Didn't go much beyond Mike Coola, however. Having the awareness to spot a colleague who is Mark Foley. Forward towards Damien Quigley. He's got pace and he knows where the target is. And he gets another good score for Limerick. His first. A defiant clench fist there from Damien Quigley, acknowledging the pass and making it 5 points to 2.
Well, that's the first time the ball has been played directly into Damien Quigley, and when he rounds his man, you can just say bye-bye. Great score from Damien, and now that he's got started, he could be a real danger from now on.
Well, only about 12 minutes gone, and already Cork in a bit of a crisis. Ger Cunningham's puck out. Would he be expected to go further than that? That's Mike Coolan back in his own half backline, batting it forward to Shane O'Neill. Crisp striking hurling. Coach Tobin racing across here. John O'Driscoll has gone with him. And the referee coming across. That'll be a free in. This is what happened again as John O'Driscoll was coming across here with Coach Tobin. And a little push there in the back, and the referee says free to Limerick. Tobin, of course, from the Kilmara club, reached the All-Ireland club final a few years ago. They were beaten by Sarsfields of Galway. Gary Kirby is the free taker. This would be his first point, and it is. Limerick have made a great start. They lead by 6 points to 2, playing against the breeze.
Well, Limerick playing really well. They seem much sharper, I won't say much fitter, but a way sharper to the ball. They're playing great the right hurling into the wind.
A switch in the Cork team. Teddy McCarthy has gone to midfield in a direct switch with Brian Corcoran. Corcoran's now on the 40, which is his favourite position. So what can he do? Cork needing scores. Limerick have a handsome lead. Early stages. Mike Coolan in this Guinness Munster Hurling Championship first round tie. Fergal McCormack down towards the aforementioned Brian Corcoran. Good solo forward. Plays with great heart, always does. Joe Dean, the UCC student, neatly in towards Mark Mullins. Well brought down by Dave Clark. Comes out here towards Barry Egan. Can they finish with a score? And the answer is definite yes. A well-worked point. Finished by Barry Egan, his second point. One from a free, one from play. And Brian Corcoran was very much involved, Ger.
Well, this is the first time Brian Corcoran has got involved in the game. His best position, most people would think, is centre forward. So the first time he's got the ball there, he has set up a score for Cork. Good score by Barry Egan.
Ironically, it was in the league where Sean McMahon, your centre half-back, held him well, that Cork had second thoughts about the whole thing.
That's true.
Mike Houlihan. Great skill by Houlihan, the midfielder. Delivered well inside there towards Tobin. Here's danger. Well stopped on the line by Joe Cunningham. Gets it out just about. Timmy Kelleher coming into his rescue. And the clearance in the end by Fergal Ryan. Blocked down by Quigley. Here's Timmy Kelleher. Hand passed outside to Jim Cashman. And that was very dangerous and could have yielded a first Limerick goal. And you remember 2 years ago in a thriller in Limerick, there were 8 goals shared between them. Brian Corcoran getting it away there from Steve McDonough. Getting the control, the shot, and that appears to have gone left and wide. Cork's third wide. Well, the goal incident a few seconds ago.
Well, great work first of all for Mike Coolan, who has started tremendously for Limerick. A low ball in. John O'Driscoll is fooled by the flight of the ball. Brilliant first save from Ger Cunningham. And then just as Tobin comes in, he saves it again. And brilliant double save by, and if Cork had got that, I think, or if Limerick had got that, Cork would have been really out of the game.
Yes, Ger Cunningham has been giving great service to Cork right over the years. Played his first championship match in 1981 against Clare, and the man alongside me was playing against him. Here's Barry Egan. A fine block down there by Mark Foley. This is great play by Limerick. Questions really been asked now of this Cork side. John O'Driscoll. Sean McCarthy under the dropping ball. Does well against Mike Houlihan. Oh, great catch. That's Kevin Murray. That's going to the right, and Joe Quaid watches it go harmlessly wide. Some fine individual performances already to admire. First championship occasion for Jimmy Barry and his team of officials to be in charge. There's the subs bench, Dennis Walsh on his feet over there alongside Sean O'Gohalpine and all the other subs who might come on and make a contribution. Again it goes between Houlihan and McCarthy, won by Limerick. Galligan pressing it forward towards Damien Quigley. Jim Cashman aware of the danger, coming across to help Timmy Kelleher. All eyes on the ball. Kevin Murray, so quick over 5 metres. He's fouled by Kieran Carey. Free to Cork. Limerick leading by double scores. And there's the Limerick dugout. Dave Mahidi there on the right, coming in with the precious little drop of water. He's had the team training at the National Coaching and Training Centre attached to the University of Limerick. They look sharp. Cork tried to match them, and that's gone wide. It's one of those afternoons when your free taker really needs to be taking his chances.
Well, the first free that he got, the 65, he just barely put it over the bar even with the wind, and he didn't strike that one well either. So he hasn't started well. Mark Foley has started really well here at left wheel back for Limerick, and he's a real find, I think, for the Limerick men, and Cork are really facing an uphill battle at this stage.
That's Kevin Kelly there, former all-star footballer. He's been looking after the Cork physical training. There's Gary Kirby, already causing some menace. Galligan over there alongside Owen O'Neill. Comes out to Jim Cashman. Cashman started well. Shawnee McCarthy now. Past Barry Egan. In towards Kevin Murray. Came on against Limerick 2 years ago. Got 2 goals in the second half. In towards Alan Brown. Defended by Mike Nash. Runs on to Joe Quaid. Quaid stopped by Joe Dean. Out it comes again towards Declan Nash. Lovely tidy hurler. Towards Barry Egan. Blocked down well by Mark Foley, and how well he has started.
Well, as I was just saying, this man is a real find for Limerick. I saw him in the challenge match recently, and he's very, very aggressive, very fast, very snappy player. And if he keeps up this, he will definitely establish himself on this Limerick team.
He's got a brother who's also one of the subs this afternoon. Plenty of brothers with the O'Neills and with the Nashes involved for Limerick. Brian Corcoran trying to persist here against Mike Houlihan. Right in the corner, needing assistance, trying to make a better angle for himself. Didn't hit it well. Comes to Kieran Carey. Quick look up to see who's available. Man again, Mark Foley's available. Over towards Shane O'Neill's corner. Stopped over there by Fergal McCormack. Runs on, however. This is Sean O'Neill, dragged down by Kenny McCarthy, right on the 65-metre line. Free to Limerick. Well, Limerick will be much happier. Not alone do they lead by double scores, but they'll have the wind at their backs for the second 35 minutes. Gary Kirby, and there's a view of the Cork bench. Jimmy Barry Murphy right in the centre there alongside Christy Cooney, and we also got a glimpse of Dr. Con Murphy. So the running repairs have been carried out. The feet of Mike Houlihan, and that's what he's looking at. No particular hurry. Approaching 20 minutes gone. Ger Cunningham catches another good save. The delivery out towards Teddy McCarthy. I suppose with the wind at their backs, we're expecting a much longer delivery from Ger Cunningham this afternoon, but the Limerick forwards have been going in there, making life difficult for him. So he's had to hit it quickly. Cork have the free. It's going to be Jim Cashman who'll hit it in towards Kevin Murray, perhaps. Brother of Tom, who's one of the 3 selectors. Huge one. Not on target, however. 6 wides now for Cork, none for Limerick, and Limerick leading 6-3. Certainly the pleasant conditions now here at Páirc making life much more bearable for the people who've travelled down here in their thousands today. Great Limerick support, it has to be said, in particular. Joe Quaid's puck out towards Shane O'Neill. Caught by Fergal McCormack. Had been played as a midfielder at times during the National League. He's left that behind to Shane O'Neill. The race for possession here, won by Damien Quigley. He's causing Timmy Kelleher a lot of problems. 2 balls that have come in towards him, and he's won each time. Owen O'Neill now trying to swing the stick. There was Mike Gallagher outside him, more or less getting in his way. That's good, persistent play by Fergal Ryan to deny Owen O'Neill. Comes back out here towards Shane O'Neill, inside towards Podge Tobin. Breaks loose, they're all in there waiting for it. And it's Fergal Ryan again who wins it, and it ends up being a sideline cut. Good play by the left half back there initially, but then he left that ball behind him. Smiling Willie Barrett, he was in Clonmel last summer to watch the Kerry Tip football game. I'm sure a disappointed Tipman at the end of all of that. Mike Houlihan cutting it in, right into the small rectangle, and Owen O'Neill scoops it in. Ger Cunningham stops it on the line. A third fine save by Ger Cunningham, keeping Cork well and truly in this match. Jim Cashman gets it out towards Mark Mullins. Dave Clark loses the stick. It comes back towards Brian Corcoran. Playing on the 40, but playing very deep for that. Here's Mark Foley once again, giving a kind of man-of-the-match type performance. Fouled, free out. This is the save at the other end, and a crucial one at that.
Well, just Cork are lucky at the moment that it's not 263 points. This should have been a goal. A great save again by Ger Cunningham, but very loose marking by the Cork full-back line. And at this, right now, Cork are in real trouble. Limerick are much faster, much sharper, and much crisper.
Cork unbeaten in championship hurling at Páirc down the years. In fact, you've got to go back to 1922-23, I think, for the last time Cork lost in the championship hurling here at Leeside. But that record is in real danger this afternoon. Damien Quigley, score of 2-3 in the All-Ireland final 2 years ago. To Mike Galligan, trying to dance away from Teddy McCarthy. Teddy picks up an injury as Sean O'Neill hits it, and he puts it over the bar. Sean O'Neill from Murrow Goher getting his first point and making it 7 points to 3. And there was an accidental clash. I think that's Teddy McCarthy who went down injured. And the Cork medical officer, Dr. Con Murphy, is in straight away to attend to him. Teddy today playing his 46th championship match, 26 in football, 19 in hurling. He's played in 8 All-Ireland finals, that's covering hurling and football, and just 4 All-Ireland senior medals for that. Terrific record down the year. Concern on the face of Jimmy Barry Murphy. What can he do in his first championship match in charge alongside Christy Cooney, the man in the glasses there, as the county chairman. We've got a glimpse of Tom Cashman as well, one of the selectors along with Tony O'Sullivan. And we've got some news from Tony O'Donoghue, I gather. Tony?
Well, Ger, just before Teddy McCarthy received that injury, the Cork selectors were thinking of changing him anyway, not taking him off the field, but switching him perhaps with Barry Egan, talking as well about switching the wing forwards. They are concerned about Limerick's dominance, obviously, but the wind factor, they say, isn't as much in Cork's favour as they had hoped in the first half, because the wind is swirling across the field at this stage.
OK, Tony, thank you for that. Yes, it's very difficult to judge from time to time here about the swirling breeze. Mark Mullins and Barry Egan have indeed been switched as we watch Teddy get bandaged up. It looked nasty, and they'll carry out some running repairs, I'm sure, at half-time. Just looking around the positioning here, and Brian Corcoran is still playing on the 40, playing on Kieran Carey. And the midfield is Charlie McCarthy, and I presume Teddy McCarthy, although Tony O'Donoghue was saying they were considering a positional switch for him. Well, the bandaged hero comes back in. We lost about a minute there through that injury. Teddy's gone back into midfield where he's marking Sean O'Neill, there who accidentally clashed with him that time. Over the head of Brian Corcoran's on towards Kevin Murray. Murray yet to make a big impression in this match. Instead it's Kieran Carey, very solid at centre half back, part of a very good half back line. Shawnee McCarthy opening across towards Joe Dean, had a chance in the very first attack. Here he's beaten by Steve McDonough, one-handed, didn't go away for him. Dean sticking to his task. He's got a man to his left, that's Barry Egan, who's just been switched there. Dean going straight through, chased by McDonough, one back by McDonough. Comes across towards Mark Mullins, didn't really take it up well. Barry Egan looking at the target. Angling one in, but he's put it wide, and Joe Quaid saying to his defenders, well done, you made life awkward, you stuck to your task well. And the shot went wide. 7 wides for Cork. And news of a substitution, Tony.
Well, not quite yet, Ger, but Sean O'Galpine is ready to come into the fray. They thought Teddy McCarthy wouldn't be good enough to continue. He's been bandaged up, as you can see. Sean O'Galpine ready to make his championship debut.
Yes, he's a very interesting character, Sean O'Galpine, son of a Fijian mother and a father who hails from Fermanagh. And I don't know the full family history, but I think they may have settled down and married, possibly in Australia, but moved to Cork. And I think hurling is one of the attractions. Here's Mike Nash. Blocked down by Alan Brown. A full-blooded block down that time. Joe Dean trying to get it inside. That's Mark Mullins! And a great save by Joe Quaid. And it just about trickles for a 65. And that was Cork's first real chance to threaten this man's goal. That was a super save. He was down so quickly, and what a good chance.
Well, great work from Alan Brown, first of all. Mike Nash had the ball, he blocked him down second, he flicked it across. A good shot from Mark Mullins, but a really great save from Joe Quaid.
I tell you, we're seeing some great individual performances on both sides, but in particular Limerick, it has to be said, who lead, as you see, by 4 points. And it's Mike Nash who's the latest one to receive an injury. So now the 65 will be taken by Jim Cashman. Cork needing a score. Can Jim supply it? And the answer in the affirmative. The centre-half back who has played a cornerback last year in the championship against Sherlock Nairn's team. I think much happier at centre-half. 7 points to 4 the position. Well, they had quite a battle, of course, when the teams met 2 years ago. I think on points, Gary Kirby came out on top that day. But Jim Cashman doing really well in this match. Joe Quaid's puck out. Sean O'Neill and Teddy McCarthy under it. Stalemate. Here's picked up by Kieran McGuckin. McGuckin from Glen Rovers. Mike Gallagher. Really going nowhere. Barry Egan. Cork now trying to dig deep, trying to find something in the final 6-7 minutes of the half. Declan Nash taking it away from Kevin Murray. Nash having the pace and having the gas, and finally taking a tumble over the outstretched legs there of Mark Mullins, Cork's captain this afternoon, the only member of the Páirc in the starting 15, although Sean O'Galpine, if he comes on, would be another. Mark Foley taking the free over the head of Damien Quigley on towards Podge Tobin, won here by a ruggedly determined fullback John O'Driscoll. Brian Corcoran watching the flight part of the ball. It's brilliantly caught there by Dave Clark. Not the longest of clearances, but an effective one as far as Mike Houlihan. Over towards Owen O'Neill. Fergal Ryan getting there first. Out towards Shawty McCarthy. It runs on to Teddy. The man they call Teddy Mack plants it into the square. In towards Alan Brown. Great catch by Brown. And that's not the top, but it's not over the bar. Alan Brown's first scoring chance. He made the most of it. And the Cork fans will believe they're still in there in a very meaningful way. Only 2 points separating the teams.
Well, this is more likely from Cork. A good ball in from Teddy McCarthy across. Alan Brown very good under the high ball. And once he catches it, he loses Mike Nash. And one tap, it's over the bar. Cork needed that score. They're back in the game again. It's still anybody's game.
So just a little over 5 minutes to go to the break. McGuckin and his match coming live from Páirc this afternoon, the start of the Guinness Hurling Championship. Mark Foley. Good clearance into the inside forward line. This time it's won by Timmy Keller, keeping a cool head. McGuckin is blocked down by Damien Quigley. Head down, full of determination. The hand pass to pick up Mike Gallagher. First touch wasn't good, but he recovers well. Sells the dummy then to Kieran McGuckin, crossing the 45-metre line. Oh dear. The grin on his face, I think, tells it all. And there were groans from the Limerick fans. There's an injury to Damien Quigley there. Just after he laid that ball off towards Mike Gallagher. And not the first wide for Limerick in the half, when really he had a glorious chance of going for a score.
Well, very unusual for Mike Gallagher to miss a chance like that, but even the best of players can miss, but Limerick still have the upper hand on Cork, and coming up to half-time, I think Limerick will be very, very happy with the position they're in.
They certainly seem to be. Ian Hartigan there and Tom Ryan, Ian Lenihan and the other selectors as well. The other has been Bernie Savage. They'll be very pleased. They played against the wind. Okay, we heard that it's a swirling breeze, but psychologically it'll give Limerick a huge edge. Oh, here's Alan Brown.
Yes.
He's in the goal. What are we talking about psychological edges? Close to half-time, Cork have gone in front for the first time in the match. A goal after 32 minutes. Alan Brown has shown in the past that he can get goals. He's pushed Cork in front.
Well, you ask anybody about Alan Brown, the first thing they'll say he'll always score goals. And here he is, gets the ball, rounds his man and kicks the ball to net. He just had that finishing touch like a good striker in soccer. A great goal from Alan Brown, and now we have a real game in our hands.
And it started at the other end with Ger Cunningham locating Kieran McGuckin, and a long ball after all of that. And now the questions to be asked of Limerick. Suddenly Cork have found renewed zest. They've found their confidence as well. Brian Corcoran in towards Kevin Murray. He's also a proven goal-getter. And that's a poor shot though. More or less mirroring the miss by Mike Gallagher at the opposite end. And the hand injury picked up for his troubles. Jimmy Barry Murphy was out by the side of the pitch there to roll a bit of encouragement on to the forwards. We just need a replacement slitter, that's the reason for the delay. So Jimmy going back onto the bench once again. Cork had 16 scoring chances, they've taken 6. Limerick had 12 scoring chances, they've taken 7. And that tells you that Cork certainly have been getting into good positions, but haven't been availing of them in the same manner that Limerick had. That looks to me like TJ Ryan or Gary Spillane. Of course, in the All-Ireland final, he's a corner forward. He could come in and do a very good job indeed. It was probably a big disappointment for him that he's out in the first place. Tony, have you got some more news?
Yes, he's been warmed up as a precaution. I know it's coming up to half-time, but Damien Quigley is very doubtful now for Limerick, so TJ ready to enter the fray.
And the referee just saying to the two players in front of Declan Nash, Kieran Carey and Kevin Murray, back you come, guys. Heading towards the final minute and a half then of the first half. Limerick were seen to be the better team, but Cork have come back strongly. Mike Gallagher, great run, leaving it behind him. Two men going in, the shoulder from Kieran McGuckin. He didn't step over the line. Dropped in, missed by Fergal. The shot there by Shane O'Neill, and another wonderful save by Ger Cunningham. Out he is again to challenge the Limerick number 10 O'Neill. From the Piercians in Limerick, across goal it goes towards Gary Kirby. Well, another wonderful save by the netminder from St Finbarrs. Back to Damien Quigley, hampered by the injury. I'm not sure if that was a factor or not, but he missed another good chance.
Well, Damien Quigley seems to have a real problem with his right hand. I think there must be something really bad with it, otherwise he'd have put that ball over the bar, and he seems to be holding it all the time.
And confirmation of a substitution right on the call of half-time, and it's going to be TJ Ryan who's going to come in, and the man going off, Damien Quigley. So a corner forward for a corner forward, but Quigley is a big loss. He's a potential match winner at any stage. Puck out's been taken over the head of Kieran Carey. Mark Foley's back there helping his centre-half back. Barry Egan tried to get it in. Brian Corcoran, full of determination, and swept away from him by Sean O'Neill. O'Neill, the midfielder. The shoulder there from Joe Dean, one of the smallest men on the field. And he must have got over the sideline with it because it's a Limerick ball. He really hit the Limerick man well. So now well and truly into injury time. Confirmation of the substitution before the break. Dave Clark sideline cut up towards Shane O'Neill. He's fouled by Fergal McCormack. Free to Limerick. Cork with a slight edge, but also the breeze. Mike Coolman is the free taker. Great ball towards TJ Ryan. And appeals all around, and in the end the umpire, I thought about to wave it wide, and then he said no, it's a 65. So a late opportunity then for Limerick. It's now down to the referee to decide how much time he's going to add on, because we're well and truly into injury time. The injury to Teddy McCarthy in the first half. And if you join us late, Teddy had a head injury, but he's playing on. It's Gary Kirby to take the 65. Cork leading by a point. Dropped in low. Again, Ger Cunningham called on to make a save. Good control there, out as far as Timmy Kelleher. Ger Cunningham, one of the stars for Cork in the first half. Mark Foley, one of the stars for Limerick, is brushed aside there. Down towards Kevin Murray it goes. Mark Mullins is coming in now, the Cork captain, skipping away from Kieran Carey. Here's danger, and that's gone wide. It seemed from this angle here as though it was starting to go over the bar, but then it curled away. And Cork with a 9th wide, far too many wides.
So many wides. That was a great opportunity for Mark Mullins, and especially when Barry Egan was coming in just outside him, if he had passed the ball. He didn't see him, he took his shot from his left-hand side. He was under a bit of pressure and sent it wide.
So there can't be too much left in this first half. Indeed there isn't. Limerick started better, looked sharper, built up a decent lead. Cork showed character and resolve and clawed their way back in. And a goal 3 minutes from the break by Alan Brown put them in front for the first time. And so here in our live match at Páirc this afternoon in the first round of the Munster, it's Cork who take a 1-point lead to the break. Cork won 5, Limerick 7 points.
Well, with me is Liam Lenihan, one of the selectors for Limerick. It is windy down here, Liam. Did you expect to be ahead against the wind, in fact?
We didn't expect to be ahead, no, but
maybe you should be.
Maybe we should be. We missed a few chances there, but I'm very happy with the way the team are playing. It's real championship fair, so it'll be hell for leather again in the second half, Tony.
Loss of Damien Quigley there just before the end.
Damien is a huge loss. I think his thumb is broken, but the strength of this Limerick team is in the reserves, and TJ Ryan is a fine hunter as well.
Do you think the score you put up in that first half will be enough, then you've got that wind in the second half?
I think with the wind, and if we can keep playing as good as we're playing, we should just about shade it in the end. It'll be very close, Tony.
Thanks very much indeed. We'll let you go back. That's it from the sideline for the moment.
Well, gentlemen, Liam Lenihan from Tournafulla down there says he's happy enough with the way Limerick are playing. Are you happy, Cyril?
Well, they played quite well, and I suppose they'll be sorry that they should be in front at half-time. Ger Cunningham is having a fantastic game for Cork, and Limerick have missed a few goals chances. They played very well against the breeze, but sometimes playing against the breeze, the forwards get more room, and you'll find the Cork forwards will get more room in the second half rather than with it.
A lot of that first half, from a Cork point of view, didn't look all that great to us.
No, but still, gone in at half-time, they're still ahead in this match, you know, and I think the Owens are good for the second half. We've had a brilliant performance by Joe Cunningham, and I think if they get enough of the ball into Alan Brown, I think he's going to be a big threat for Cork, and he showed that in the first half there with the goal, and a well-taken goal it was.
OK, well, we're going to take a commercial break right now, but we're back after that to hear the further views of our panel, Cyril Farrell and Tomás Mulcahy. As you said in that first half, mind you, Cyril Farrell, Cork, during that first half, have needed a goal, and Joe Quaid was also called upon.
Yeah, Joe made a great save. It could be the save that could win this match yet, because even the one goal has gone in by Alan Brown, it was a great save. Just on the edge of the square, Mark Mullins got a clip, and it's blocked down here. It breaks to Mark Mullins, grip on the ground, fantastic save, because like, he hardly sees the ball just come. Here it comes, quick shot. Cameron Halley picks up, great save. It could be the save of the game, yeah.
An excellent save by Joe Quaid indeed, but as we know, a Cork goal did eventually develop, and it was well taken when it came.
Yeah, well, like Alan Brown is very, very strong in the air. Like it was after a miss by the Limerick forwards, and a good long puck out came, and Alan Brown goes up and catches. See the insert and comes in a minute.
Yeah.
He actually catches in the air. Nash breaks the hurdle, pulling across him, and like he turns and sticks in there with a boot. Like, but the Cork full forward end looks dangerous for goals, and even though they had a breeze in the first half, there'll be more space for them in the second half.
Let's see if we can have a look at that Cork goal, because as we said, a splendid goal when it did come.
Yeah, that came from a long puck out. From a miss by Limerick, Gerald gave a long puck out, went into Brown, caught, turned, worked his way in. Like the full back of the nose there has no, just a stick is broke, kicks across him, but he kicks into the net.
So Tomás, Cork then have taken the lead in this one. What about the second half then? What can we expect?
Well, I think you can expect a livelier game from Cork in the second half, really. I mean, we struggled in our half-hour line in the first half when we thought with the wind and the puck-outs from Joe Cunningham that we might be able to dominate there. We struggled there. But then again, we've had about 10 or 11 wides at this point in the first half. A few of those very, very close not to be points, that we could have maybe went in 2 or 3 points up than what we are at this point in time. But again, you look at Limerick, I think they must be disappointed with the goal-scoring chances that they had at the other end and didn't take them. I mean, at one stage they could actually went 2-6 to 3 points ahead of Cork, but they didn't take those chances. And hopefully they might regret that at the end.
All right, well, plenty to talk about from that first half. We take another commercial break. We're back after that with the second half of Cork versus Limerick.
Harry Kirby, a match which restarted early. It's gone to Owen O'Neill, side netting. From Fergal McCormack racing back out here to pick up his man this afternoon being Shane O'Neill. So now remember, it is Limerick who have the breeze at their backs. Joe Cunningham made so many crucial saves in the first half. And Cork have made a change. They've brought Darren O'Donoghue into their half-forward line. Here he is chasing across here, trying to get the measure of Dave Clark. Teddy McCarthy went off injured. Here's Darren O'Donoghue. First chance to shine. And a little bit of polishing required there. Comes back out towards Dave Clark again, challenged by Darren O'Donoghue. Good clearance by Steve McDonough. One in the middle of the field there by Kieran McGuckin. Cork's midfield for the second half, Barry Egan and Shawnee McCarthy, as you were for Limerick. Mike Houlihan in there, delivering the shoulders and the hand pass to nobody in particular. Kieran Carey trying to make it his. And how will the stalemate end up here? Probably with a throw ball. Referee Willie Barrett from County Tipperary. And there is the confirmation then that Darren O'Donoghue has come on for the start of the second half in place of Teddy McCarthy. Dave Clark has it. Little through ball towards Mike Gallagher. Good vision. Down towards Owen O'Neill. Gary Kirby kept on moving. TJ Ryan, one of Limerick's subs at the end of the first half. Here he is. Going through. Here's a glorious chance. He's hooked by McGuckin. And McGuckin goes back again to spare Cork's flashes. Comes out. Dangerously so. Oh, where did it end up? It's gone out. And it's a point, is it? No. What's the story? It's gone for a 65. Off Kieran McGuckin's shoulder, I think that one ended up.
Well, great work there by Kieran McGuckin, because he saved them on 2 occasions there from a goal. But great move again by Limerick. The ball not transferred maybe fast enough, but a great opportunity for them. There's TJ Ryan, hooked first by Kieran McGuckin. The ball breaks out, comes back in here again from Owen O'Neill, I think. TJ Ryan again, and off Kieran McGuckin's head, I think, or shoulder. Oof. Out for the 65.
Could be very painful indeed. He's okay. Gary Kirby to take it. For Patrick Swellman, with a point from a free so far to his credit. In towards Páirc Tobin. Tobin looking for some space in which to turn. Coming way out from goal. Mike Houlihan now coming onto it. Limerick looking for the equaliser, and that's put over the bar. Level for the first time. Mike Houlihan's second point. And it's taken Limerick just a matter of 3 minutes, a little over in the second half, to draw it on terms. They were causing problems for a couple of minutes here.
Well, it was very unusual for Gary Kirby, first of all, not to get the full distance in the 65, but lucky enough from the break, Mike Houlihan gets the ball and puts it over the bar.
And it's Limerick who have it once again. TJ Ryan. Simple look up, and they go back in front. It hasn't taken too long in the second half for Limerick to make their mark in front of their joyous fans here. So Limerick lead by a point. Well, Cork struggled to come into the match in the first half, did so with a fair degree of effectiveness towards the final 10 minutes of the half. Now they're struggling once again. This is Kieran Carey getting it away from Brian Corcoran, who's lost the stick, but chasing nonetheless. And the shot from Kieran Carey raises a white flag and raises a huge cheer down in Porty. A great rallying score, that one there. He won it well. He skipped away from Brian Corcoran and delivered a wonderful point. Limerick lead by 2 points. Limerick fans raising the decibel level here. 10 points to 1-5 they lead. Sean O'Neill under it over there. So too Mark Foley playing a storm on at left half back. Barry Egan powerless to deny him. A deep one down there. That's John O'Driscoll denied by Páirc Tobin. Fergal Ryan, he's played very steadily, aware that he could be hooked by Owen O'Neill. Only gets it out as far as Gary Kirby. Kirby can punish that error, and he does so. We're seeing a glorious 5-minute spell here by Limerick. Gary Kirby's second point. Well, they were denied the All-Ireland, people argue, with 5 minutes in 94. And here now at the beginning of the Munster Championship, in 5 minutes, they're really inflicting punishment on Cork. Bad clearance, came to Kirby, and he said, take that. Shane O'Neill, Mike Houlihan, now Mike Galligan. Well, the intensity now has been demonstrated by the men in green and white. A trip on Gary Kirby results in a free in for Limerick. Well, whatever Tom Ryan has said to them at half-time, it's certainly had the desired effect.
And it's very interesting to note that Limerick's three big men, Kieran Carey, Mike Houlihan and Gary Kirby, have got the last 3 points, and here's another great chance now for Gary Kirby.
The free from Kirby goes away to the left. And I note that Sean O'Halpine is about to come into the fray here. The number 17, who was a minor with Jimmy Barry's team last year, played at centre-half back. Now, where's he going to go in? It seemed that Sean Og is going in to... Mark Mullins is the player, I think, being called off. So one the Páirc man replacing another. I assume not alone will Sean O'Halpine come on, but he now is the captain as well, and the only Páirc player on the field. Disappointing afternoon for Mark Mullins. O'Halpine has gone in there to mark Shane O'Neill. The race in the centre of the field. Sean O'Neill coming together. That's O'Halpine. Dave Clark. Ronan O'Donoghue. Now Brian Corcoran. In towards Alan Brown. It can be so dangerous. Kevin Murray, if he's nearer to goal, can cause problems. The shot by Kevin Murray goes over the bar. That's the first, although the second point of the second half for Cork, or is it? The first of the second half for Cork, but an important one indeed there for Kevin Murray. So just 2 points in it.
Well, Cork have moved Fergal McCormick from wing back to wing forward, which is a very unusual move. I suppose they're hoping he'll win the ball in the air. Brian Corcoran isn't winning the ball in the air today, but it's a good point for Cork and it still keeps them in touch.
So switches aplenty. Jim Cashman back there battling. Owen O'Neill for Limerick. Quick look up at the target, but it's mishit. So lots of chances falling to each team. Cork particularly wasteful in the first half when I think they had something of the order of 9 wides. So there's Mark Mullins, replaced by Sean O'Halpine. Sean O'Gat, left half back. Here's Gary Kirby playing centre forward against Jim Cashman. He can follow his way through on the 65-metre line. Mike Galligan there to lend assistance. From Shawty McCarthy to Mike Houlihan. It's all very scrappy indeed at times. Here's Kieran Carey. Lobbing it in towards Páirc Tobin, batted out by John O'Driscoll as far as Timmy Kelleher. Skipping around there, the challenge of TJ Ryan. Ryan persisting, the hand pass out to Sean O'Halpine. His championship debut. Good catch under pressure there by Mike Nash. Only goes as far as Shawty McCarthy. Lobbed in. This is Kevin Murray. Murray trying to provide the fodder. The intention was to link up with Joe Dean, but instead it's stolen away there by Steve McDonough. McDonough for Limerick. Not such a long clearance, but effectively out nonetheless. Popped back there by Alan Brown. Just 2 points between the teams. Limerick with a 2-point lead. Murray trying to set one up here. Oh, it's very Egan. Just couldn't quite get a touch on it. Oh, foul there on Declan Nash as we're taking it out, and the referee says play on. Kieran Carey. Good decision. Down towards Páirc Tobin, getting inside for once, and Fergal Ryan coming across to try and clear the lines, and that's gone in. Tobin will take the credit. John O'Driscoll was there as well. A vital goal for Limerick at a stage in the game when they were getting on top once again. Will that now be the turning point to see them through a lead of 5 points, 111 to 1-6? That's Gary Kirby, stopped by Jim Cashman. Sean O'Halpy now. Cork's record of wins here in Páirc in the hurling championship really very, very much under threat. Well, the goal scorer, no doubt about it, Páirc Tobin. And a vital one of that. Jim Cashman batting it down. Mike Galligan pressing forward. Sideline ball.
Well, a long ball in here. Initially it seemed that Páirc Tobin was clear through. He was tackled in. There were 3 Cork men around him. And I think eventually it was an OG really that he'd have fixed it very good into the goals.
But I think let's go to the number 14.
Oh yes, without doubt.
Joe Dean. Stop by the other Joe Craig. Yes, I think Páirc or Páirc Tobin, as he's known, will take the credit for that one, but it may well have gone off John O'Driscoll. Here's O'Driscoll again. Good clearance beyond Shawnee McCarthy. Darren O'Donoghue, very talented young player, beating Dave Clark for pace. Hand pass delivered to nobody in particular except Kieran Carey, who was there to accept it, but it was a foul, and that's going to be a free in for Cork. Limerick leading by 5 points. So the free to Cork will be taken by Barry Egan. He's the scorer of 2 points in the match so far, 1 from 3, 1 from play. Having a right good look at it. Curls inside the right-hand post. Point number 3 for Barry Egan for the day. Edging Cork just a little closer. It's a 4-point game. But on the evidence of what we've seen so far, Jerry Loughnane, Limerick, good value for their lead.
Without a doubt, they deserve their 4-point lead. They're much sharper all over the field, but still Cork are hanging in there. If Cork get a goal, they're full forward and still seem dangerous, and if they get a goal, they'll be right back in the game.
It's in the championship, of course, and it only takes a minute or an incident to turn a game. TJ Ryan, nicely balanced on his stick, and he puts it over, getting away from Timmy Kelleher there. Second point for the substitute, who's making his own particular point, I think, to the Limerick management. Happy Limerick fans, and the day having dried up quite considerably. Kieran Carey touches it down one-handed. Brian Corcoran trying to deny him space, but Carey's been the master there. Down towards Tobin again. Getting inside once more. Chaoimh hesitating, and that's enough. And this time there is no doubt. Tobin's second goal. Four minutes after the last one. He got inside John O'Driscoll. Ger Cunningham just had a moment's hesitation, and the boot of Páirc Tobin used to great effect.
Well, again, a great ball from Kieran Carey in here, and Páirc Tobin, he's creating havoc in the second half. No question about this. When he gets his boot to the ball, sticks in the net.
And while we were watching that replay, Brian Corcoran got a point for Cork. So it just amends the position ever so slightly. Limerick with a very handsome lead, 2-12 to 1-8. Joe Quaid's puck out. And far from the sunshine we were speaking of a few seconds ago, it's showers once again, misty showers. Limerick won't mind that. Well, whoever comes out of this ground this afternoon with a win, it'll be a huge victory for them. They'll face Clare, the All-Ireland champions, in the next round, the semi-final of the Munster. But with the rain simply teeming down, consider the prospect that the beaten side here may be out of competitive hurling until next March because of the reshaping of the league season. Kieran McGuckin with the championship on his mind. In towards Kevin Murray. Has tended to play well away from goal, and that suited players like Declan Nash. Nash, the hand pass. It's picked up again by Darren O'Donoghue. A turn away from Dave Clark, and again a bit wayward in the finishing. Oh, Joe Quaid came out. That's in there by Joe Dean. On the line there, it's Mark Foley called upon to make a very important intervention. Declan Nash back. Harassed as he was doing so. Steve McDonough. Mike Houlihan. That's Shane O'Neill. Every stroke by a Limerick player right now being cheered on to the rafters here by jubilant Limerick fans who over the years have come here to play Cork teams and gone away badly disappointed time and again. It's a free to Limerick. Limerick certainly seem to have that little bit of mental sharpness that you obviously require in the championship.
Well, Limerick are away sharp all over the field. Their back line up, they're tough and very, very tight. Declan Nash on the great game, left corner back, and all over the field they're away ahead of the Cork at the moment.
Emphasising their point there, Gary Kirby with a third point. So now it almost looks easy for Limerick. They lead by 2-13 to 1-8, an 8-point difference. Alan Brown, who was in the wars with injuries in recent times in the City Championship here in Cork. Indeed, he was on crutches for much of this past week. Appeals by Sean McCarthy that it should be a Cork-led ball. But Limerick right now justifying their favouritism going into this match. It's going to be Dave Clark to take it. Down towards Owen O'Neill. Now Gary Kirby. Jim Cashman. Into Sean O'Halpine. Racing away from Gary Kirby. It's towards Darren O'Donoghue. Now Gary Kirby once again. The block by Sean McCarthy. And the wild pull there by Shane O'Neill. And that was across Sean O'Halpine. Names like O'Halpine, I think, are ones for the future here of Cork hurling. Limerick with this sizable lead. Just about 17 minutes remaining. Jim Cashman. Into the corner towards Joe Dean, who's got very little change out of Steve McDonough. Mike Houlihan. Jim Cashman under it. It sails over his head on towards Owen O'Neill. Came off the stick there of Timmy Kelleher. Kelleher has switched, by the way, with Fergal. Ryan now across, marking TJ Ryan. That's up top of the left. Certainly those two vital goals during the second half really creating the gap between the teams. Mike Houlihan. In again beyond John O'Driscoll. Owen O'Neill, former student at the UCC, who will have exams on his mind once this game is over. It's John O'Driscoll from Delaney's his foul this time, free out to Cork. And they're calling Ger Cunningham out from his goal with the big wide boss to try and get it as far as possible against the breeze. Towards Brian Corcoran. On towards Joe Dean. Lobbed in there. Watched well by Steve McDonough. And a good clearance down towards Gary Kirby. Batted down by Jim Cashman. Off Sean O'Halpine. And some further news down on the sideline from Tony O'Donoghue.
Limerick ready to consolidate their position now. Frankie Carroll from Gary Spillane ready to come into the fray, and he'll replace Shane O'Neill from the Páirc.
Yes, so a wing forward for a wing forward. And Frankie will be anxious to show just what he can do. Once again, the sideline cut will be taken by Houlihan. Going away to the right. John O'Driscoll lets it fall down for Mike Galligan to come on to. Trying to make a better angle for himself. McGuckin powerless to intervene. It all ends up going wide. 6 wides now for Limerick. They had just 2 in the first half, so 4 in the second. Cork with no wide whatsoever in the second half, but 9 from the first half. Sean O'Neill, middle of the field. Down towards TJ Ryan. His namesake from Blackrock, Fergal Ryan, in there defending. Fergal McCormack towards Brian Corcoran. Hasn't had the best of afternoons. Cork's number 8, who's been playing on the 40. That's Mark Foley with the clearance down towards TJ Ryan once again. Skipping inside Fergal Ryan. But the Cork member of the clan goes back to try and deny him, but he's powerless to do so. That's gone over the bar. The stick of TJ Ryan once again, yielding a 3rd point for the Limerick men. That's a fine contribution, so Limerick now leading by 9 points.
Well, we were saying at half-time that Damien Quigley was a big loss to Limerick, but TJ Ryan has come in and he has played really well. I think this is his 3rd point and he almost scored the goal as well, so Billy Linnan was saying they have strength and depth and they're showing it now.
Well, what kind of strength and depth do Cork possess? Darren O'Donoghue fouled. So is there a way back for the home team playing in the red and white? None of Limerick out their way. Chaoimh McCarthy lobs it in around the house. Joe Craig, good stop. And a second or two to think about it. Alan Brown going in to get a partial block on it. Touched down there by Barry Egan. The goalkeeper's out of his line. Alan Brown's gone down injured. Here's Brian Corcoran, won't come up for him. Tight marking by the Limerick backs, and it's Mark Foley who makes the clearance. A good one downfield, stopped by Sean O'Halpine, making tracks forward. O'Halpine, the former minor star in hurling and in football. I was saying some time ago here in Cork that he's set to be the next dual star, perhaps, after Teddy McCarthy. Well, who can tell? Mark Foley. Of course, when we mention dual stars, we have to mention Brian Corcoran as well, very much a current dual star. But the stars really are from Limerick this afternoon. Ball raining down towards Ger Cunningham's goal, stopped here by Timmy Kelleher. Fouled as he was making his way out, but it's in more or less one-way traffic as the substitution now that Tony mentioned is about to materialise, and Frankie Carroll comes on. And the player getting the nod, I think we heard it was going to be Shane O'Neill. And that indeed has come to pass. So just about 12 minutes to go. Cork attacking through Barry Egan, but going to the right and not causing any problems for Joe Quaid. So once again, the caption telling its own story of Limerick's change in a bid to consolidate the position, and just as they put that caption up, I note that Cork are about to make a change and David Quirk from Middleton is about to come in. He's gone across to the referee with a little slip of paper, and I think it's Alan Brown who's been forced off through injury. Alan Brown limps away, and on comes David Quirk. And Brian Corcoran's gone in towards full forward. Meanwhile, it's Gary Kirby at the other end, and that's going away to the left. So Alan Brown's day and Páirc Quay finishes on the sideline, along with Dr. Con Murphy there being escorted off. And he made way for David Quirk. Sean McCarthy. Dave Clark. In towards Tobin, going for the hat-trick. Ger Cunningham came out. Picked up here by Timmy Kelleher under great pressure. Runs out towards Jim Cashman. Next, it's Sean O'Halpine. As a unit, Cork defence has really been asked some very serious questions this afternoon, and they haven't always come up trumps, it has to be said. Owen O'Neill, and runs on there towards Tobin. Tobin with a little hand pass inside, fouled. Owen O'Neill was in the clear, but the referee had signalled his intentions of signalling a free in, and it's John O'Driscoll who's been called across. The referee issuing the lecture in front of an attendance of 23,401. Wonder who's the one. It's going to be a free in. think the referee did take the name of John O'Driscoll there. It's going to be Gary Kirby who'll take it. So this to enhance an already very good-looking situation if you're a Limerick fan, as Gary Kirby puts over point number 4. All of them important, but it's 2:15 now to 1-8. And it's very, very difficult. It has been very difficult all through the second half to see any way back for Cork. Mark Foley, one of the stars for Limerick. Kieran Carey. That's Kevin Murray. It's Murray, Corcoran and Dean in the inside forward line right now. Barry Egan playing it centre forward perhaps. Kieran Carey's got across, good block down. Nicely inside to Kevin Murray, shaping up for the shot. It goes into the side netting. Overall, Ger, your assessment of this Limerick performance this afternoon, will they trouble you, for instance?
Well, I think they're very, very impressive this afternoon. They're very, very sharp. I haven't seen them like this for the last 2 years, but we knew that they had trained very hard since Christmas, and they're producing the goods here today. They're all over Cork, all over the field, and they could be even further ahead than they are at the moment. They're very, very impressive display from Limerick.
Well, Ger will be telling us about his man of the match a little bit later on, but still we've about 8 minutes to go. Frankie Carroll bats it down. Oh, well blocked down by Kieran McGuckin. McGuckin trying to kick it clear. Fergal McCormack was ready to strike, it does so. That's David Quirk. Stopped by Declan Nash. Comes back out again. Limerick so eager and so impressive this afternoon in key departments all over the field. Declan Nash, out it goes towards Mark Foley. TJ Ryan has come in off the bench and done a wonderful job at calling forward as a replacement for Damien Quigley. Good pass outside to pick out Gary Kirby. They had to work hard for that, but it doesn't produce a point. Well, those who said before this match that Jimmy Barry Murphy and his selectors simply didn't have enough time in the few months they've been in charge to put together a championship team. Well, they've put together a team that's battled with heart and determination and led at half-time, but the experience in key positions has been Limerick's, and they've taken their chances more or less in the second half with 2 very important goals to build a platform for a fine lead. TJ Ryan stopped by Ger Cunningham, and you think but for his great saves in the first half how much further ahead the Shannon-siders might be. Sean O'Halpine without the stick. In comes Gary Kirby. He's grounded there by Jim Cashman. But people looking in at home in our first live telecast, they will say the standard has not been up to what we expect. What would you say about that?
Well, I think the conditions have had a lot to do with that. The field is very, very greasy. The wind is blustering across the field. But even, I suppose, given that, especially at Cork, it's very unusual to see Cork picking and poking and not getting that stroke clean away. And even when they do strike it, they're not striking it very, very well. Very unusual to see that from Cork. But I think Limerick striking it doesn't leave anything to be desired. They've scored 2-15. They're totally on top. That full back line, I think, that 2 cornerbacks, especially Declan Nash and Stephen McDonough, have been absolutely outstanding. And it's just that Limerick are so far ahead of Cork that it's very hard to compare standards.
That's Gary Kirby. 5 points for Gary Kirby now. Limerick with the breeze, Limerick with the rain, Limerick with a handsome lead of double scores. Fergal McCormack goes off Mark Foley there. He's had a terrific afternoon. Fergal McCormack. Here comes Mark Foley once again. Lengthy clearance down towards TJ Ryan, bounces away from him towards Gary Kirby. Kirby showing good penetrative skills there. Jim Cashman again trying to deny him, but again resorting to the foul, and that's going to be a free in for Limerick. And at this stage in the afternoon, it's such a frustrating afternoon for people like Jim Cashman, who've given some wonderful service to Cork down the years. Really, at this stage, it's just routine for Limerick. Scoring opportunities from frees for Gary Kirby. This just to fine-tune his free-taking skills. And that's gone over once again. A very important contribution, as always, by Gary Kirby. Kirby playing today in his 21st championship match. So just about 4.5 minutes remaining now. And Cork's record of wins in the championship at Páirc just about gone. Owen O'Neill trying to go by Timmy Kelleher. The pass outside for TJ Ryan. The ground stroke perhaps not causing problems. It's John O'Driscoll who's back there. Poor striking by John O'Driscoll. Back to Ryan. Well, if it had been a tighter match, the fullback would be really annoyed with himself. TJ Ryan's got 4 points since coming on as a sub just before half-time. And what about that for a position? 2-18 to 1-8. And Limerick, very, very good value for their lead. Limerick about to make a late change, I think. I note that Brian Tobin from Munger's about to come on for the remaining minute or two. Tony, perhaps you've got some news of that? Meanwhile, we're watching Kieran Carey. That's inside for Tobin. Is this the hat-trick? Oh no. Instead it comes to Fergal Ryan. Mike Houlihan watches it come down. Darren O'Donoghue. Outside for Fergal McCormack. Brian Corcoran unable to keep the ball in play. So Tony, I gather we've got some further news.
Yes, Brian Tobin coming onto the field, as you can see there, for Owen O'Neill. I think Owen will be happy with his first championship outing for Limerick.
And he can concentrate now on the exams tomorrow. Tom Ryan there concentrating on the last couple of minutes here. Cork with 24 scoring chances, Limerick with 36 scoring chances, and they've taken 20 of the 36. Sean O'Neill off. Brian Tobin, the player who's already gone off. Fergal Ryan. Poor striking again. Frankie Carroll trying to set up Gary Kirby. In it goes towards Páirc Tobin. It's Owen O'Neill. His run has just gone off. And Limerick are well and truly in the next round of the Munster Championship. Owen O'Neill, a goal and a point. Poor defending by Cork. They concede a third goal here with just about a minute and a half to go. And Cork have been buried out of sight on Lee's side by a very game and sharp Limerick team. Take that. Brian Tobin down towards TJ Ryan. Ryan again with a shot. Well, many notable performances as regards man of the match, and I'm sure he's in the running as well, TJ Ryan, in spite of that miss with 4 points. But it's Gerlach Nairn's choice of man of the match this afternoon, and who's it to be?
Well, I think there's no doubt about it. You could pick any Limerick man, I suppose, as man of the match, but the Limerick half-back line have been the winner, and if they are, Mark Foley has been outstanding, and I've picked Mark Foley in his first championship match has been the outstanding player on view here today.
Our congratulations to Mark. Thank you, Ger. Gary Kirby. They're really now just tormenting the Cork backs, and that's been the case all through the second half. And that's just gone wide. Can't have been too much in it there for Owen O'Neill. And I think Jimmy Barry and Tom Cashman will feel that they prepared their team well, that they've just run into a bang-in form Limerick side this afternoon. And now the question, just how good are they? That we shall see in a few weeks' time when they take on the reigning All-Ireland champions, Gerlach Nairn's side from Clare. Declan Nash helping his brother Mike there. Frankie Carroll and the referee's whistle and sound, and it's all over. Cork's record in Páirc of never losing at the championship is now consigned to history. A very good performance by Limerick, in particular in the second half, when they really opened up a big gap. Podge Tobin with 2 goals. Another one right at the end by Owen O'Neill left a very big margin. The man of the match there, Mark Foley, being congratulated by Pat Guthrie and by the match referee as well. But the final scoreline here on Páirc, well, if you're a Cork fan, it makes dismal reading. If you're a Limerick fan, you're probably in 7th heaven. It's 3-18 to 1-8. It's Limerick v Clare in a few weeks' time in the Munster semi-final. So with that, let's go back to Dublin.
Ger Canning and Ger Loughnane, there are commentators at Páirc. Let's go back to our panel, to Cyril Farrell and to Tomás Mulcahy. Cyril, not just a win for Limerick, but an annihilation of Cork.
Yeah, Michael, Limerick were very sharp. I saw them playing a challenge game a few weeks ago, and I know you can't go by challenges, but it was more than a challenge game against Clare, and they came out today and did what they had to do. Going in at half-time, they were only a point down. They should have been in front, but I knew they'd feel happy because they strong breeze second half, and they went to town the second half. And, like, they are a good side. OK, people will be saying Cork have a new team coming, haven't put it together yet, but that's a good Limerick side. They've picked up a few since the last All-Ireland Offaly, and they're going to take some beat.
It'll be no consolation to us, to Cork people, that that's a good Limerick side. I mean, a defeat like that, the first in the championship at Páirc for Cork, would be a bitter blow. Yes, it has to be a bitter blow, I must say, Michael. You know, I'd say the lads themselves will feel very disappointed themselves, because I know how hard they've trained over the last number of weeks and what the type of effort that they put in, you know. But at the end of the day, it's no consolation, and you just have to congratulate Limerick on a brilliant performance, you know, and they gave a great second half. These were the goals that were all the difference, weren't they, Tomás? The first 2 goals of that second half. Yes, and I mean, they took the 2 goals well. Here you see the action again. A little flick from the full forward, you know. I think they wanted credit with a non goal, but you can see here, as the ball breaks and as he falls on the ground, he gets a little flick with the hurley, and it goes past Ger Cunningham. Again, before that goal came along, Limerick had got 4 points straight off on the trot after the second half, you know. So, and there's the second goal again. Again, you have John O'Driscoll coming out, and a great place for a full-back to be is out in front of your man, but at times if the full forward is behind you and the ball breaks, you're in no man's land at that stage, and he took his goal very well at that stage. We wonder, Cyril, about this full forward. He's certainly strong, whatever, but anything else? Yeah, he looks unorthodox. In the first half, you have to say that John O'Driscoll had a measure of him as such, but as Tomás says, John goes to trouble out to the ball, and even a little push from behind, if you make a mistake, half mistake, you're caught. Tobin took his 2 great goals well. He'd be very happy, and he was in hard luck for one or 2 more, and I only for Ger Cunningham in the first half, there'd have been 2 more goals gone in. Sure. All right, gentlemen, so that's it. Cork gone out of the championship, I'm afraid. Tomás, thank you very much for your thoughts, and to Cyril Farrell. Right now, though, we're going to take a commercial break. We're back after that with football. It's Down versus Donegal. Beat the Cats.